Do you guys like my hairstyle? Let's quickly jump into the video. Hey faves, it's Chilekwa. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. If you're new to this channel, you can show that you like it here by liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment down below. And before we jump right into the video, make sure that you are subscribed because we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So please subscribe, and after you've subscribed, please share this video with your friends. So I actually believe that hair is constantly growing, so I don't give hair growth tips, but I actually give length retention tips. So how can you keep the length that you already have and see more noticeable growth in your hair? That's what we do on this channel. So if you're interested in that kind of journey, stay subscribed and be subscribed to this channel. Okay, let's jump right in. The first thing that you need to avoid, this is a very big mistake that a lot of people make, believe it or not. The first thing that you need to avoid is being negative. You have probably said one of these lines before. I'm cursed, my hair doesn't grow, my hair will never grow, my hair can never grow past a certain length. Some of us just don't grow hair. Like, that needs to stop. Okay, I'm not going to turn into a motivational speaker, but first of all, if you believe that your hair can grow, then it definitely will grow. But if you're going to be negative about it, even when your hair shows the slightest sign of growth, you're not going to see it because you're so focused on the fact that you think that your hair can't grow. So if you have a positive attitude and you believe that your hair can grow, even as you're doing these things that make your hair grow, you will be seeing the results from the efforts that you're making. But if you're being negative, even when the results are actually coming out, you're not going to see them. So whenever you said those words that your hair will never grow, or your hair will never see shoulder length, or your hair will never pass a certain level, from the last time you ever said that, let that be the last time. And from now on, you are not saying that again, because your hair can grow. I believe it. Do you believe it? Make sure you believe it, because now this one is very personal. I'm not out here telling people how to be with their hair. I was once this person. So if you choose to be this person and you want to be this person, I'm not going to be the one to stop you. I'm not going to be the one to speak against it. But wait, I am speaking against it. But if you want to stick to that advice, or if you want to take that advice, that's good for you. In my books, okay, don't come for me. But anyway, the second thing that you need to avoid if you want to see visible growth in your hair is chemical relaxers. Come shoot me if you want to, but I'm done with the creamy crack. Like, I'm so done. For some people who actually have strong hair, well, they're still able to grow their hair to lengths. I mean, there's a very, very small percentage or population of women who can still grow tailbone length relaxed hair. And to be honest, I applaud you. I applaud you, because it's not easy. It's not an easy thing, because the more we use chemical relaxers in our hair, the weaker it gets, because chemical relaxers break the bonds that make up your hair, and they make the hair weaker and more fragile than it already is. So yeah, cutting out chemical relaxers is something that can actually help you on your growth and length retention journey. Me going natural is actually how I discovered that my hair actually has the ability and capability of growing. And I never saw this during my relaxer days. I never saw this when my hair was relaxed. And if you've watched my natural hair journey, I'll link it up there. It'll explain exactly that I could not grow hair past my shoulders when it was relaxed. And that's because as much as my hair was growing, it was also breaking that fast because of how weak it was when it was relaxed. So use of chemical relaxers is something that I wouldn't encourage. I strongly believe that your hair can grow as long as you want it to, but only in its natural state. But hey, there are some people who have been able to grow long hair with relaxed hair. But for me personally, that is a point that I take home. The third thing that you need to avoid if you want to see visible growth in your hair is manipulating your hair. There's this thing I call it the HIH syndrome, hand in hair syndrome. If you are always touching your hair, you're always manipulating your hair, like you keep a hairstyling, a week later you take down that hairstyle, you're in a new hairstyle. Every 3 days you're changing your hairstyle. Manipulation even has to do with combing your hair. Like anything you do to disturb your hair is considered manipulation. Over manipulating your hair is very bad for your hair. Our hair, as I mentioned, is very fragile, and so it doesn't require us to always be touching it, always combing it. Like even if I did something like that, like all the time, I'm weakening the ends of my hair. Next thing I'll see is a piece of hair on my hand. That's detrimental. That's bad for your hair. Under manipulation of hair, I will also put heat styling, because heat styling is another method of manipulating your hair. And I'm just gonna pause for like a quick second because I'm a little guilty of heat styling myself, but there are methods of using heat that are not harmful to your hair. That's why I'm not going to take too long on this topic, but avoid hair straighteners as much as possible, or anything on high heat which could actually burn your hair or heat damage your hair and actually break it off. Okay, we can now resume with regular programming. So each time you're combing your hair, you're pulling out a piece of the ends of your hair and it keeps breaking. A lot of people get shocked when I tell them I rarely comb my hair. And I don't even count detangling my hair as combing my hair. I do not comb my hair at all. Like I do not pass a comb through my hair. If I'm gonna style my hair, I'm gonna use my fingers, or I'm gonna use a comb just for the parts to make the lines, and then I will use a detangling brush or a tangle teaser to detangle my hair. But I never comb my hair, and I only detangle my hair during wash days. Yeah, I don't know if I'm embarrassed to say that, but like I only detangle my hair during wash days because mostly my hair is tied away in a protective hairstyle. And for those of you who've noticed, the longer you keep your hair in a protective style, the more it grows. Like each time, let's say, try keeping your hair in a protective style longer. For example, if you keep your hair in for a week, try keeping it for 2 weeks and see if that makes a difference for your hair. If you keep your hair for 2 weeks, try keeping it for 4. Believe it or not, people get shocked. Like sometimes I keep my hair for like 8 weeks, and I know it's like, sis, why do you keep your hair that long? But like, even a bun counts as a protective hairstyle. Don't take down your bun every day to restyle it the next day. Just wear a scarf every time you go to bed to keep it neat, and keep that bun in for a week, even 2 weeks if you can. I'm a lazy natural. Like I'm the laziest natural that you ever find. Like you would think that I'm always doing something to my hair that makes it grow, but literally I do nothing. That's it. I do nothing. The only thing is when it's in a style like this, I will then go in with my oils and oil the scalp, and that's the bare minimum that I do to my hair. But if you're gonna keep your ends working and healthy, then avoid manipulating them because they're the older parts of your hair. The fourth thing that I would advise you avoid if you want to see some growth is frequenting the salon. Now, I know for most people the salon is like their best friend, and they believe that that's where they go that makes their hair grow. There's a very small number of hairstylists that actually pay attention to the health of your hair before they care about what hairstyle works for your hair or the neatness of the hairstyle that they'll do on your hair. I talked about this in one of my videos that I'll link up here as well. So as much as people think that visiting the hair salon is good for their hair, all they care about is how good their work's gonna look and how their brand is gonna be reflecting on your head, and how as you're walking the streets you're gonna be representing them. And if the next person asks where you got your hair did, that's a business for them. So very few of them actually pay attention to the needs of your hair, unless maybe you form a personal relationship with your hairstylist and she offers you a trim here and there, and she actually does pay attention to the growth and the maintenance of your hair, which rarely happens. So frequenting the salon is something that I wouldn't really recommend if you're trying to grow your hair. No one knows your hair more than you do. You are the one that knows your hair better. So it's time to start getting well acquainted with your hair. It's time to start knowing what your hair likes. No one understands your hair better than you. So once you learn your hair, believe me, I haven't been to the salon in almost 3 years. I can literally say I've had only one other person do my hair in the past 2 years. So what I would advise is maybe take a month and a half break between your salon visits. So if you go to the salon, maybe you go and do a weave, or you go and do a protective hairstyle, or you go and do your cornrows for your wigs. Try to keep those cornrows in for about 6 weeks before you go back in and redo them, because the more you keep going to the hair salon, they blow dry your hair, they do all those things to your hair. That is not healthy for your hair, and you will rarely see growth in those instances. The fifth thing that you need to avoid if you want to see growth in your natural hair is skipping your wash days. Do not skip wash days. If you have a routine of washing your hair twice a month, that is your routine. Follow it and stick to it. You have a busy lifestyle like me, and like I said, I'm a very lazy natural. I wash my hair every 4 weeks. Because why I emphasize on like not neglecting your wash days is because wash days afford your hair the opportunity to, one, re-moisturize, get rid of any product buildup. You can put all the products in your hair, but once your hair gets so saturated with products, those products are not going to go anywhere. They're not going to penetrate your scalp. They're not going to penetrate your hair shaft, because like your hair is just weighed down, and it's just like, sis, there's too much product. Like, you got to get rid of it. You know what I mean? So like, make sure that you're washing your hair regularly, so that you're giving your hair and your scalp a new base for the products to start working. And a clean scalp is the best environment for your hair to grow. That's where the growth starts. The growth starts from a clean scalp. This is how I imagine it. Okay, so this is your scalp, this is your hair follicle. Now imagine there's like dirt and products stuck on your hair follicle. That makes it very difficult for your hair follicle to push through and grow. But if the scalp was cleaner and there's nothing clogging up your pores, the growth will be super easy for your hair. So people don't really understand the science behind washing your hair and it contributing to the growth of your hair. But a clean scalp is good for fast growth, because your hair loves a clean scalp as much as it loves nutrients and all the oils, but it deserves a clean scalp. Once your hair gets used to a certain routine, it adopts that environment and says, okay, this is the environment that I've been given. Let me thrive through it. I mean, imagine if you neglected your body, you stop eating, you stop feeding yourself, stop drinking water, eventually the results are going to show in your body. So if you did the same thing to your hair, you started neglecting your hair, don't feed it, don't nourish it, don't wash it, then definitely you are going to see the results in the way your hair is growing. The sixth thing that you need to avoid if you want to see visible growth in your hair is choosing length over health. Okay, so this is very, very, very important, and it ties in with the very first point that I gave, because most of the negativity comes from choosing the length before you consider the health of your hair. If you have healthy hair, then the length will follow. Period, sis. Period. Okay, so like, if you emphasize on having healthy hair is trimmed ends, no split ends, clean hair. That's healthy hair. If you focus on what makes your hair look healthy, be healthy, then the length will follow. So the moment you start having good health care habits for your hair, the length shall follow. Length always follows health. So prioritize the health of your hair first before you can think of it growing. And the length will shock you. Believe it or not, the length comes naturally. And like I said in my previous video, people are gonna be asking you how you grew your hair, and you won't even know, because it will just grow. I keep saying this because sometimes people ask me like, how did your hair grow? I'm like, believe me, I don't even know. But I know that I made very healthy hair choices that led to the growth of the hair. I can't pinpoint what exactly, but it's because of those healthy hair habits that I keep choosing. Wearing a satin bonnet every night that I go to bed, having a regular wash day, having a strict regimen and being very, very consistent with it, protective hairstyling, moisturizing, always making sure that your hair is moisturized, less manipulation. All those healthy hair habits contribute to how well your hair grows. Number 7, avoid exposing your hair to cotton. That's the 7th point. When you go to bed, always wrap your hair with a silk scarf or a satin bonnet, because the material is very smooth, it's very silky, and it's very slippery. Silk is very good for retaining moisture. If you've moisturized your hair and you wrap your hair in a silk scarf, or you wear a satin bonnet to bed, that guarantees that any moisture that's in your hair remains in your hair and not on your pillowcase or anywhere on your face. The best material for retaining moisture and keeping your hair moisturized and avoiding breakage of your hair is silk. So avoid anything cotton related close to your hair. If let's say your hair is down, like your hair is loose and it's always rubbing against your cotton clothing, when you sleep it's always rubbing against your pillows, that causes some friction, which causes split ends, which causes breakage. So like I noticed that for my hair to actually even go beyond my shoulder length, I always kept my hair in buns. Like I always minimize the number of hairstyles that I do that have my hair dropped down, because when I was relaxed I noticed that the crown of my head wasn't as affected as the back of my hair. The back of my hair would usually go that short. Even the sides of my hair would only grow about that short, but the middle of my hair would always grow much longer because it was the part that was barely exposed to the cotton clothing that I wore. So if you keep that in mind and keep your hair away from anything cotton, that should help with some length. If most of you may have experienced this, but you would find that when you go, especially as little kids, because when we're little kids we didn't care about braiding our hair before we go to bed, we didn't care about wearing a scarf before you go to bed or a satin bonnet. All we did was just go to bed and you'd wake up with like a patch of no hair here. Especially if this is the side that you sleep on, you'll wake up the next day and find there's no hair on this side. If you sleep on the back of your head, you wake up the next day and find there's no hair in the back of your head. Why? Because that was your hair's reaction to exposure to cotton. So cotton is just bad. Cotton is it's very drying, and the more your hair rubs off on the cotton, there's so much friction. It makes your hair brittle and it makes your hair split up and eventually break off. Like you won't even know how your hair broke off, but it's just the cotton. So avoid cotton.
Of what? From the bottom. Hey, I'm British. Hey, see accent, dude.
So avoid cotton as much as you can. Number 8, the one thing that you need to avoid if you need to see growth in your hair is avoid being inconsistent. Like I said, you need a very consistent regimen for your hair. If you get your hair used to a certain routine every single day, then you have higher chances of growing it. I'll give you an example. If you're sick, you go to the doctor and you're given medication and he gives you a prescription to say, so you have to take 1 tablet 3 times a day. There's a specific reason for that, because specific times of the day your body needs to get exposed to that medication for you to reach full recovery. Now if you have a consistent regimen, it's similar to the doctor's prescription. So each time you're exposing your hair to all those habits, then you are giving it the opportunity to be healthy, you're giving it the opportunity to grow, you're giving it the opportunity to be strong. And there's no way you can lose length if you have created a consistent regimen that you can stick to, that will help. I don't even know why I keep doing this, but yeah, that will help your hair grow. As you do to yourself, do to your hair too. If you take baths, why don't your hair take a bath too? If you moisturize your skin with some lotion, why ain't you moisturizing your hair too? You get the point. So be consistent, whatever you do. And like I said in my other video regarding how I grew my hair fast, or how to grow your hair fast, I mentioned that when you're building a regimen for your hair, you don't have to go all out. You can start with one thing that you'll be repeating on a regular basis, be it daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly, and then move on to something. If you want me to do a video on building a regimen, then let me know and I will do so. Number 9, I've said this in a previous video and I'm going to say it again. Your ends are the oldest part of your hair, therefore are the most vulnerable, are the most brittle, are the weakest, are basically the most susceptible to breakage. Your ends should not be neglected. Your ends should be taken care of. When I'm moisturizing, I make sure I pay more attention to my ends than the root of my hair. Why? Because your roots already receive some natural oil. So even if you're not paying attention to your scalp as much, you still have a better chance of growing your hair than retaining the length that's already there if this part isn't moisturized, because our scalp actually produces a natural oil called sebum, which is what helps our hair to grow. Because of the coiliness of our hair or the kinkiness of our hair, the sebum doesn't manage to reach the tips of our hair, and therefore it only able to cover a certain portion of our hair. So then us moisturizing our ends, or us applying products to our hair, gives our ends a chance to also have that nourishment and that nutrition that it's not getting because it's not close to the scalp. Being all scientific with y'all. But yeah, so make sure that you are always doing something about your ends. Even as you comb or as you detangle, be very, very gentle with your ends. If you're gonna, like, as you're detangling, you gotta treat them right, because they're the oldest. Respect your elders. Those are your elders. Respect your elders. So like, even as you're combing, and if you've seen in most of my videos, when I'm combing my hair, I hold and then I comb. So that's how you do it, because if you start from there, the breakage gonna start from there, the split end's gonna start from there, and next thing your hair is gonna go from being this long to that long. So you need to make sure that you pay particular attention to your ends, and you shall see the growth. The last but not least point to avoid if you want to see visible growth in your hair is using any and every product. Now, people think I'm a crazy person when I do this, but when I'm shopping for hair products, the first thing that I'm going to do before I even put that item in the shopping basket or in the trolley or anything is look at the ingredients. People think I'm crazy for this, but you must look at the ingredients. Why? Because you need to know what your hair likes. I, for one, know that my hair is low porosity and my hair hates protein. Not necessarily that I can't use protein-based products, because protein actually strengthens our hair, but too much exposure to protein for me would be a bad thing, because then it makes my hair super brittle to the point where it starts to shed and it starts to break off. So I always look to my products to make sure that they're not protein based, because if I'm going to be using them on a regular basis, then I need something that wouldn't affect my hair in an adverse kind of way. The other things that I usually look at, I'll list them on my screen: sulfates, parabens, mineral oils, silicones, etc, etc. If you want me to do a separate video on why we should avoid these particular ingredients, I can do that for you. Just leave it in the comments down below. Understanding your hair comes with knowing what to put in your hair and what not to put in your hair. For example, I don't do pomades anymore. Ever since I went natural, I think I only used pomades in my first year of being natural, and ever since then I've just been using oils, because I just feel like they're lighter, they penetrate my hair shaft easier. So yeah, I've been using that. So I said it's very, very important not to just be using any and every product. What I discovered about using pomades is that my hair, it being low porosity, tends to have a lot of product buildup, which then causes dandruff, flaking, and all those other things. So pomades are these petroleum jelly kind of the blue magic. I will insert pictures on the screen to show you what pomades kind of are, but yeah, so I stopped using those and I only use oils. So just because it says hair food, just because it says shampoo, just because it says conditioner, doesn't mean that it's good for your hair. Most shampoos contain sulfates. Sulfates are not good for your hair. Sodium lauryl sulfate, which is also used in most shampoos, is actually used in dish soap and cleaning detergents, and you're using that in your hair. That's like way too harsh. Thank you guys so much for watching this video if you made it this far, and if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up. Do not forget to share this video with your friends so that they are also on the journey to health before length, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.